I wish that you guys could have heard the string of profanities that I unleashed the moment everything in this house dropped. I believe that I raised the temperature, the ambient temperature within like a 5-mile radius of my house by like 10 degrees. And now I'm invisible. I don't know what's happening here. You know what? I couldn't have asked for a better place. Hey, Shy, how are you? What's up, Odd? I know it's a minor thing, you know. It's like bad things happen, and I'm a very understanding individual. But in the area I live in, you know, we're up in the mountains, kind of rural. Um, it's not uncommon to see like a tree that is tipping over or falling over. Just, you know, they get old, they die, laying on power lines, and it'll stay that way for weeks before the electric company will come out and deal with it. Half the time, it just kind of falls down on its own. Mrs. Rabbit had a branch come down on her car when she was driving. I just wonder what I'm paying for. You know, it's just the angry thoughts that we get. But when life puts obstacles up, you can only do one of two things. You can either collapse or you can push through. So we're going to try to push through. If I just disappear again, y'all know what happened. Going forward, we might be looking at only streaming on sunny days. But yes, she was fine. It hit her hood, put a dent in her hood, which she loves her little car. And holy cow, man. She was furious. For those of you that have a significant other, and sometimes, like, you know that even if you didn't do anything wrong, if something is wrong and you act up in the wrong way, you might get wrapped up in that. I was on my best behavior for that several days on that one. But oh, in fact, it happened like 6-7 months ago, and I bet if I brought it up, like just if she walked in and I asked her, right back to the day it happened. But this actually works out pretty well for us because none of what I'm about to do tonight is going to involve me in any kind of a dangerous. Put on one of your previous lives for my fix. Oh, nice. Well, I'm hoping we're going to stick through it, guys. I'm hoping. I'm trying here. I'm trying. But nothing I'm going to be doing tonight is going to put me in. It'll be inconvenient. Are you back there? It'll be inconvenient, but it won't be dangerous. I'm not going to be losing equipment or my life or anything like that. Worst case scenario, if we do transit, I always build on this shield wall. I've done it before. I've built out in the sand, and especially for getting spice, it's very good because you're out there in it. You can go quick. But I prefer being on the shield wall just because there's resources to get in here. There's ships. There's some caves. There's all sorts of different stuff that you can still do here. And that transit time, it's a pain in the butt, but you know what? Safety first. So we're working through that, picking up some great tips. I'm going to set up DD. All right, awesome, dude. So where I was at before we were interrupted was I've got almost 900,000 milliliters of water that I've got to do something with. Theoretically, I could let it hit the ground, you know, if I wanted to be that kind of person, but personally, I'd rather use it. As I said before, the biggest way to use up water is to make plastanium. Even like plastone's only 50, duraluminum's 500, etc. Even spice, when you do the math on it, Mhm. When you do the math on it, spice 75,000, that's a good chunk, but that is roughly 58 ingots of plastanium to use that much water, and it takes 45 minutes to make spice. So plastanium is the way to go, but I have a bit of a problem. This box is titanium, and yay, look at all that titanium. This box is strontium. Ooh. I think this is the first time I've ever had this problem, where I don't have enough strontium. But luckily, we are going to hop in here, and we're going to go get a bunch. The reason I want to do this before talking about, you know, what results of the week and what we got is because the faster I can get that running, the sooner I can get some of that water used. So that's what we're going to do. The joy of building on the shield wall is, you know, some basic routes that that make getting plastanium resources incredibly easy. Also, the area I build in the event that I do need more water for death stills, I know where the caves are. Works out. I made 2 trips out to Titanium Island while I was out here. That is why we have so much titanium compared to strontium. I never went to Strontium Island. And I did bring a little bit out with me. Alright, yeehaw. Woo! And we yeet. So what we're doing here is we're just getting some resources to try to use up a bunch of water. Also keep in mind for plastanium, we got to get that strontium into the strontium fibers. You still build on the shield, even if just planning to get spice. If I'm just going out for spice, I would build out in the deep desert. Problem though is, let's face it, I'm not gonna do that. As soon as I get out there, I'm just gonna be like, oh, you know, there's other things I could be doing. I don't know if it's just short attention span or if it's OCD or whatever it is, but I'd be flying around and be just like, I can't just do this. But in the early days, I used to almost strictly build out in the sand because I was out here mostly just getting spice. Plastanium was kind of a secondary deal. That was back in a time when there wasn't nodes like there are here in this area. They were only out in the deep desert, and the islands were PvP. So there was a level of danger involved in mining resources back then. So, you know, plastanium was definitely a slower grind. Once they put all that here, I mean, literally you come out here, you build on the shield wall, and the only thing that you've got to transit for really is spice and testing stations. Plus, real estate's really a hot commodity out there now. I'm not going to go and show you because if we have a power outage, I'll be out in the desert. But there is no place to build a base on the islands out there, the strontium and titanium. The upper one there is. Looks like nobody wanted to go that far, and it is all the way up in like I-1. It's way up in the corner. So, you know, that's undesirable, I guess. I don't think that air conditioner's too happy about the power outages. You can hear it. At least the microphone lasted for a 4-minute stream, so that's what we'll call a win. Yo, we're going up on wheels. I had to help somebody, like actually help them. They had apparently gone after something, and they drove their buggy off into the sand. So they put a message up, and they were like, hey, is there a way to get back up on the shield wall if you fall off? And it kind of surprised me that most of the people were telling the person, just take your buggy apart, put it in your backpack, and you'll have to scale the wall with like a suspensor or something like that. I'm not going to go grab that. I don't really need that. Which you can do. But again, this is one of those instances where I've done something so much that it doesn't occur to me that it may not be common knowledge. But all of these areas have multiple, the shield walls up here, they have multiple ways that you can get from the sand back up. Like for instance right here. This area opens up to this little middle section, so you can come up here and you can get to this one. Right here, very hard to see, but this is actually an entry. What? No, that's not. That might be it, yeah. This is an entryway. You can come up here and then you come around this way and you come around that and you can actually get up. So if you ever do fall off, you can get back up here without having to take everything apart. It's not a big deal to take your buggy apart and climb the wall if you really had to, but if you had a bunch of stuff in your buggy, it's not going to fit in your backpack. So there are ways. So we parked our buggy actually right there, and I flew off and guided them in. And they were very happy and appreciative. They said thank you, and I said you're welcome. And then we went on our merry way. I think it's an issue of most people when you first come out to the deep desert. I know it was this way for me, maybe it is for you as well. It's a little overwhelming. There's so many things going on, and you know, you don't necessarily know the way of things and the rules. And it can be a lot to get taken in. And also, like I said, you know, someone like me who knows this stuff, it doesn't occur to me that other people don't. So I'm not saying that like a douchebag, you know, it's just the way it is. How are we doing, by the way? Let's take a look. We're halfway there. That's good. If you're a solo player like me, this is one of the best things to do. Throw Spotify on, something like that. Put a podcast on. Watch a video or something that you can just like listen to, that you don't really have to pay attention to. And this little excursion here, time flies. It takes something super tedious and turns it into something you don't even notice. Watch pot type deal. No, okay, that did not work at all. Is it Titanium Island? 2 big bases there. I couldn't believe the number of nodes. You could easily, you could easily fill up a buggy very quickly. In fact, you could fill up multiples. I went out there yesterday, and there were 2 other people who were loading up, and we all were fine. And they respawned very quickly, too. Very quickly. But, like I said, on my server, there are, I don't know exact count, but there is no way that there's less than a dozen bases on that island. It's also very close to a large field, spice field. Oh, that was a new rock I wanted. Okay, so this route continues on if I'm really super excited. I think there's iridium up there. Come on, turn. But we're not going to keep going. This should do well for us. I don't quite know if we'll have enough, but we'll be able to knock a big chunk out of it. And I do have other... Uh-oh. Get up there. Come on, get up. Go on. There you go. Nice. And don't ever do this. Okay. Just when you're traveling hard for spice, considering how slow the carrier is. Yes, it definitely is slow, and it will take time. But, you know, there is a level of peacefulness to it. Sometimes that's kind of nice. If we pass a node, we'll stop and get it, but I don't think we're going to. It's usually a bunch. There's one usually spawns there, and there's one back there, but this week it said nah. Can go up there. You have to go all the way around to make that happen. I ain't about that noise tonight. That's crazy. Oh, kitties. All right, here we are. What are you guys doing? So we got this right here. We're going to come into the buggy, and we're going to pull all of the styrvidium we can. This, unfortunately, is very full, so I don't think there's going to be enough space to get all of that. Is there? Of course not. Of course not. Why would there? Perfect. Silicone blocks. I'll explain that in a second. Let's make styrvidium fiber. Just make it all. And that's going to take us an hour and a half, so we got a lot of time going. Guys, what are we doing here? So, how did our week go? I will show you something that I am happy about. Actually, let's do it over here. Yeah, nothing in there. Okay. Well, I'll have to do it directly from the machine. So I'm going to go to storage, and yes, you can see here I have, for some reason, a whole bunch of silicone blocks. Why do I have that? Do I have a fully T6 buggy? Did you just upgrade the important pieces? Completely full, top to bottom. What's the matter, buddy? Completely full, top to bottom. I've got the bigger buggy boot, the expensive cutter array. I do not have a bloodshot engine on it, but I will. The bloodshot engine just doesn't go as fast, but the acceleration is faster. And for the short runs that I'm doing, that's where my money is. So we're going to be putting one on there. I'm just waiting for this motor to get its usefulness done. But nope, she is tier 6 all the way. But why do I have this? Well, honestly, if you need silicone blocks, which I actually got a little low, the deep desert is the best place to go get them. Worm aggro is much reduced out here. I'm not saying, you know, it'd be a shame. Oh, hi, kitty. What's up? Yeah, I know. The power went out. It was scary, wasn't it? Can I get you? Because I don't trust you up here. But thank you for walking past the microphone and not ruining it. It would be nice if they had left us a few of the spots in Haga Basin where you could harvest flower sand without a worm aggro. But unfortunately, they removed all of them. Don't talk about Fight Club. But in the event, do you not want to be in here? In the event that you need silicone blocks, the reason I come out here, mainly 100% worm aggro is so low. You can harvest almost a complete field. I think I did a complete field one time the worm came. No one bothered me. It's real easy to find. I'm not going to show you because if the power goes out and I crash in the deep desert, I'm screwed. But yes, so I come out there and do that. I filled up the assault once, And I've still got a good row here, and I have made a ton of silicone blocks. So that was something that I did while I was looking for spice, go out, fly around, couldn't find any spice, drop down, grab some flour sand. Doing crash ships. I was going through looking for shipwrecks and crash ships. Got a bunch, stopped, pulled up a whole bunch. Then I went out and was like, I wonder how much silicone or how much flour sand I can get if this is all I do. And I was able to harvest 2 fields. One time on each field it breached. Other than that, we were full. I did reset my aggro. By that I mean I would land on one spot of the field and take an entire half of it. And then a worm would show up and I'd go up in the air and then I would land on the other side. But very little aggro. Now, let's keep in mind that we're talking about, a compact compactor that has medium worm attraction. So there. And when I was doing it, I was wearing soft step boots for the -45 threat, and I have the skills to reduce worm threat through skill specialization. So I'm got little things here and there that are helping that out. If you don't have this stuff, you may not experience quite such a peaceful thing. But yeah, the worm aggro is so different compared to Haga Basin that if you need flour sand, I'll come out here and get it. If I don't get any, I don't get any. I don't care. But as you can see, I only filled up my assault one time. And let's take a look at what we ended up getting. So we made a lot of plastanium. Holy cow, did we ever make a lot of plastanium. And we're going to be making a little bit more here tonight. We also made a ton of silicone blocks. Let's get this out of here so the machine will stop freaking out. It's going to be a long time before we have to do this again. I'm pretty thrilled about that. For this stuff, this is good for mission, some of the tier 6 gear and stuff like that. Not in this quantity. This is actually a ridiculous quantity amount, but this also is good for selling. That's how you get some of the really big bank accounts selling plastanium. It's not hard to get. It just takes time, and some people would rather be doing other stuff. And if they have the money to pay for it, hey. We don't talk about Fight Club camping. I'm not saying you're wrong. But back in Haga, the first base was in Haga South, but my first real base was right, only a couple, maybe 100 meters away from the flour sand that was inside and no worm aggro. And oh man, I wreaked havoc on that field. But here we are. So yes, we did excellent with plastanium, and silicone blocks are great. The only issue, and I'm going to actually turn this back to circuit 1, that way I can access it. Oh my, are you okay there, buddy? We got to go get some plastanium going, and I guess he doesn't want to be in here, so we're not going to keep him in here. Hey, look, we got 200 more coming. Just a second, let me get the buttons clicked. Okay, look, I'm clicking the buttons. So, let's take a look at this. 783 after all that strobidium that I made. And we can make 130. Boom, we're down to 620, and we're just waiting on that strobidium fiber. So that's going to put a huge dent. Let me get this dust out of here. Hold on. Whoop. I'll just put that on the ground. You ready? You want to go too? You don't want to be in here? No one likes it in here? Is it too cold? Come on. You be good. Of course, Pickle's still in here. Pickle never leaves. Oh, okay. If we wanted to, we could sit here and be silly and just keep clicking this button every time one gets in there. Not up for that though. But we've got a ton of this coming out. And we can do, what is that, about 800? So we could do 800,000 in water. This alone is going to drop those tanks. We don't have to worry about that. Worm's just biding his time. Yep. So we did pretty good with plastanium and silicone blocks. I'm happy about that. Was just a little extra thing. Um, Another thing that we did while we're out here, which is something you can do when you're getting some downtime, waiting for some materials or whatever. Um, we got a bunch of fuel cells. I actually completely loaded on a trip back to Haga my Assault. Completely loaded it with fuel cells and took them back and dropped them off in the box, and we still have more out here. You can get fuel cells pretty easy in Haga. You can get them way easy when you're out here. I'm not saying you're going to come to the deep desert just to get fuel cells, but while you're out here, I don't know if you noticed, but when we drove, like there's a bunch out here, just outside. There's one up there, and there's like three going down the hill. It's crazy. We're out here. We got the buggy. We'll just go and do it. Another thing that we did is most of our water came from the 4 death stills we have. I did have those units on the roof, 6 wind traps running nonstop. And I don't know if you remember, but I was talking about getting this skill spec here to compress the corpse, and I was like, oh, I've got 2 boxes worth of bodies. I'm trying to figure out what to do with them, and I was just going to let nature take its course. Nature took its course. I used damn near all of them. I couldn't believe it on how many we went through. I brought 1 full box out, and this is all that's left out of the second. And I think Haga is almost completely empty. So we went through some Masquerade while we were out here. And I kept these things running hot. So that's your base materials that we got. Build up any need we're going to have for fuel cells. Silicone blocks are done. We got tons of plastanium, and we're probably going to end up taking some strontium and titanium home with us. And we even have some extra flour sand that we're not going to be able to process before we have to leave here. When you fly to from the desert sling load container, does it stay attached to your carrier? Yes, it does. Or us, who didn't dupe the market on my server. Crazy launch, 100K. 140, yeah, it's about the same. I sell it for 75K, which I still think is incredibly high. If somebody's on Odin and they need spice melange and want a much better price than that, if you're just starting out, let me know. But that's the market value. Let's drink some water while we're talking. Speaking of, well, before I do that, yeah, you don't see the carrier underneath it. But it is there. When you land, when you get to, say, you go from the deep desert into Haga Basin, it's going to be laying behind you in the sand, so you're going to have to get in the carrier, go up in the air, and pick it back up, and then you can go on your way. They don't bring you in the air, so, carriers laying on the ground. Why transport using a salt and not just build up enough to use the carrier with the container? I could, and I actually have a real easy access to my cargo container. The reason I did it in the Assault is because it was pretty early on. I wanted to use the Assault in order to get flour sand, and it's faster than the carrier is going to be. So just that little bit of speed was the reason we did that. Much easier to gather than spice. Agave seeds are good. Yeah, 75K for 1 melange. That is how we got this. Is melange and plastanium. I sell melange for 75K each, and I sell plastanium, I think 5,000, maybe 10, depending. Might take a trip over to Arakeen, take a look at the market. Speaking of spice, we did not do all that well. Let me put that into perspective, because I've got like 4,000 spice, roughly, like 36, 1, 2, 3, 30, yeah, about 3650, which will get me through a lot of things. And that's good. It's still good. But I was capable of more. I've got a crawler. I've got investments into the skill sets. I've got the equipment, everything. It was tough spicing this week. It was really, 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 really tough. Honestly, where are the people getting this money? Yeah, you know where they are. Uh, they're doing the duping. A lot of the people were dupers. It's questionable because I've never been the highest price on anything I've ever sold in the market. And I sell things for what I think they should be, not for what I could get for them. When I was putting spice up there for 75K each, there were people who were selling it for 150, 125. I was undercutting the hell out of people. Um, I'll sell a Taro cut array for 50,000. See them up there for $1 million. You good? I'm gonna put you down though, okay? Ba-doop. But I think another big thing is when you join a guild, if there was a duper in your guild, it became a guild thing. There would be a guild bank and there'd be tons and tons of money. Less than 200, not dabbling in the markets yet. You'd be surprised. And what you can sell, we'll cover that in a second. I'll get right back to that on. But what I would have been happy 3 full rows. Right? Each one of these rows is 2,500. I would have much rather had 10K because that would have completely filled me up, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it for another month. But it was just tough spicing. It is the Wild West out here. There are no rules. So spice is spice. People grab it. My outlook on it is if I have my compactor out, I'll hit smalls, maybe a medium. I don't go near larges with a compactor. I just don't do it. If I'm in my crawler, I'll do a medium, and I'll go to the large fields. I don't do the smalls. If I fly up and there's already somebody at any of those fields, the smalls or the mediums, I don't land. I look at it as a first come.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
That was probably the Coriolis warning. I look at it as first come, first serve, like you're staking your claim. If there's already somebody there, I move on. That doesn't seem to happen too often, though. It appears as though I might be special in my thinking on that. Although, I do have footage of a guy who flew up, saw me crawling, and flew away, and I was like, dude, do we just become best friends? But that's my outlook on it. And if I go to a large field, I don't want more than 3 people there. Honestly, I prefer no compactors. That makes me sound like I'm an elitist, like, ew, look at the little peasants with their compact. No, it's not. It's nothing to do with that. I don't know why they did this in this game, but for some reason, a guy with a compactor is way louder than a dude in a bulldozer with a vacuum cleaner in the front of it. It doesn't make sense. But the aggro, I can do a medium field and never see a worm breach. I'll fly up in the air and kind of reset it, let things calm down. But I've done medium fields and never had a worm breach. But if there's a person there compacting, within 20 to 30 seconds, there's a worm coming. And I get it, because when you're doing compacting, you want to get as much as you possibly can, as fast as you can before a worm tries to eat you or bad things happen. That is not conducive to crawling. Crawling is a much slower, more controlled, and more timed thing. If you're on a large field with guys compacting, I do a lot of the stuff solo, so I have to land. I got to drop off the crawler, land, jump out, run over, get in, crawl, and then when the worm comes, I got to drive it back over, jump out, get in, get airborne. If I had a buddy and we were doing it that way, it wouldn't be so bad, but it still isn't good. This week, it seemed like every time I would go, there was somebody already there, so I would just leave. I did quite a few cleanups on like a medium field where a person landed and just did the center. So I would just do a couple laps around the outside edge, and I was only getting, maybe 1.5 stacks. So I wasn't even getting 2,000 spice sand. It sounds like a lot, but with a crawler, it's not. On those, I went out at least 3 times and did basically my pattern where I just go up to the corner and I just zigzag all the way back to the base. And I never even stopped to pull anything. I thought about, like, dude, do I really want to throw my crawler onto a small? Like, for goodness sakes. Yesterday, out of nowhere, 3 medium fields in succession all by myself. It was crazy. And that's where, honestly, a lot of that came from. It was a terrible, terrible week. And that seems to kind of be the way things are going constantly. With the PvP, PvE split, there's a lot of people who never went to the deep desert before and were like, heck no, I'm not getting killed, and it's crazy. And, they're experiencing it now for the first time. And that's great, and it's a good thing, don't get me wrong. But I didn't know how low the worm aggro was in a crawler until I got mine. If you're just coming out here, you don't know. You're just doing your thing. You're doing what you've been doing. And it's rough. I would like to see, if I had my choice, I would think that crawlers shouldn't be able to harvest from mediums or smalls, only large fields. And you shouldn't be able to compact on a large field until it's way gone, like it's just the scrap thing. I don't know how you could do that. Just basically give everybody their place, have at it, but there is nothing like that, and I don't even know if that's feasible. But it just made for a rough time, and I thought for a second, and another reason why the assault was out here, I was like, maybe I should just, you can't beat them, join them, let me grab my assault, I'll come down there and start rapid fire compacting. I had someone land and put their shield in front of me, so I had to leave. Yep. Wild West out on my paint server. I was on a medium today compacting, and the next thing I know, I'm getting run down by a crawler that landed after me. Yeah, it's unnecessary. There's just no rules, And how many people are on my server? 100 people. And if 99 of us come to an agreement on how to do things, but one person says nah, and then it falls apart. So, poo. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to go to the deep desert transport, and I'm actually going to split this just to fill this section up. You know me, I like to keep things organized. Same with that, and let's just pump all of our spice over. I don't even know why I'm bringing this back. I have so much of this. That was a resource that when I first started getting it was like, oh yeah, let's make some filters, and now there's just so much of this crap. We're gonna bring back, I ended up having 471. Funny story, I was 86 sand short of making a batch when I got back with my crawler, and I was like, are you kidding me? So I went out, found a small field. We're gonna let this sucker run, get back over here, and we'll pump this number back up. And then we're gonna look at the next box that's going to tell a story. Boop, perfect. Okay, so we got this box right here. This one over here, I put fuel cells in for the most part. That one's for that machine. This is all spice. This one is my whatever. This is stuff that I collect from doing different things. Running through the Forgotten Caves, doing testing stations, doing wrecks, shipwrecks, crash ships, all those other little extra things. It's kind of an overlooked aspect of the deep desert. In row A you have a whole bunch of smaller ships and shorter testing stations. And they're going to give you like the duraluminum basic level of equipment type stuff, which is great. But if you're in like end game, you're already making tier 6 stuff, you're just like, I don't really need this. But if you're just now coming into the deep desert, it's a great way to get some gear that's going to let you do some of the harder things. Um, Unless you're doing the overland dungeons with friends and ripping through that. But this box is where I dump all of that stuff. So this is all the miscellaneous things we got. We did pretty well. I was looking for some specific things doing those testing stations. Would have loved to have gotten advanced shield, but didn't happen. But we did get a nice tactical radiation suit. These do come graded. I don't honestly know if that's required. Maybe for the radiation testing station, it would come in handy. But for all other things, man, just a level 1's going to be fine. So we got that. We ended up getting 2 of the Bloodshot buggy engines, so I already have a couple, but we're gonna make use of those. I got some of the forge chest piece and pants. Don't need it, but actually that's what I'm wearing. But it's ungraded, so we'll probably put that on the market for a pretty cheap price. Got some executor gear. Same thing, ungraded, so we'll just stick that up in the market. That's probably going up for like 5 or 10. Not much at all. I just hope it goes to good use. We got ourselves the Baron's Blood Bag, which is huge. Love these. Now that we started pulling blood from people before we stick them in the Death Still box. Probably go over that Wednesday. I got all sorts of shotguns. Got a perforator, got a penetrator, and then we got 2 shell bursters. I actually use a shell burster, but it's a graded one. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Bigger buggy boot, Mark 6. That'll be good. Picked up a set of hummingbird wings, which I was really surprised. I was like, man, now that's one thing in the lands right I don't have to do. And then we just got some basic materials. I've already got these things. Nothing too fancy. I mean, yeah. But we did pretty well with, what is that? 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 33. 33 patterns that we got. Or schematics, or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, schematics. Of, stuff that's not too bad. Would love to have gotten more of this, but it is what it is. But 100 ain't nothing to laugh at. And then 117 of the spice infused duraluminum dust. We got those mostly from row A testing station. So does flying up for 20 seconds or so reset the aggro? You got to go up in the air until you so the line goes away, and then you kind of hang out. There's always going to be one patrolling, but he won't be as interested in you as he was. And if there's other people around, bad things could go. Okay, money. We ended up getting a bunch here, and then we pulled 30,000 as a spare, so yay, Solari. Complex machinery. I saw a guy in my world chat was saying, where's the best place to get that? Well, apparently the deep desert's not too damn bad. This will come in handy as well, and then the rest of it's just kind of extra stuff. Love the plates. We'll turn this into plant fibers. We got some schematics for augments. Even more. Got a whole bunch of the thermocoolers. I don't know. Some industrial pumps. Some minor stuff. But, it's a full box of all sorts of great and wonderful things. So we're going to pop these into here as well. We are getting mighty full. This stuff is heavy. 500 volume. So we're going to see if we can take all of this back. Some of it we'll use, some of it we won't. But if you're just starting out and just getting yourself out here, these aren't too hard to get. And I only did the testing stations one time by myself. Every time after that I did it, I just put a message up in the chat. It was like, yo, I'm going to go do testing stations. Anybody want to go along? and people were doing it. So we were in there with a group. There was one time we had a bunch. Am I gonna make this? Yeah, we should be all right, right? Looking at the slots, the inventory space isn't an issue. Okay. So I don't think that we're going to make any more production stuff. Let's see. How many can we make? 408. Well, let's watch this water go down. It won't let me click on it. Let's do this. Okay, so it's a little angry today. That's why. Oh, it did it. Did it? Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't have that many. And we're back up to an hour and a half. So I only got 96,000 left in water. That's pretty good. One of these boxes, I've got some empty leader johns, I think, in here. Yeah, it's made. Is that going to do it? Is that going to do it? Perfect. Unfortunately, we are very, very full on... We did really well, man. We only had a little bit of overlap. With our transport, we are quite full. In fact, I've only got enough space for 12 things. So let's just go ahead and do these. And 2 more. And then I think what we'll do is we'll backpack the rest. And for that, we're running a little full. This was the excess of everything that I brought out to make. To make this base. And as you can see, I brought quite a bit extra. We gotta remember to do that before we tear things down. So we did bring out a ton of extra stuff. I should be getting this and taking this back home and keeping, excuse me, keeping this separate from when I actually break the base down. Because I don't want to bring this back out the next time. We might end up making 3 trips. One right now because we filled it with all the other stuff. I've still got a bunch of resources. I've got a lot. Still got a pretty good amount. What are you doing there? Still got a pretty good amount of this. So, you know, these are 450 each shot. So this is going to be our first trip back. Plus we'll have to break vehicles down. So, let's take a look. How much fuel do we have? Not a whole lot. Let's go get some more, just in case. I don't ever like getting into my carrier without at least 5. So, this was stuff that I picked up from the, there's a house rep who's out here in the deep desert, House Maros. And I was like, oh, I wonder if they have rewards for me. They had a ton of stuff. I was like, oh, man, I hadn't been out to the deep desert in a long time, so kind of makes sense. So we'll empty that away. This should be full. Yeah. Otherwise, I did like some minor things. I moved those wind traps to kind of line them up a little better. Did the same thing with the desk stills. We added a couple little sections of walls and cleaned up some small issues, like I put some posts. I'm pointing like you guys can see it. I'm so sorry. We put some posts right there on the steps going up, and I filled in that little hole right there. So we just did some minor things. Other than that, we really, come on, get up in the air. We really didn't change too much. which is good. All right. And now we have our first trip back. That's a weird noise. Auto fly for the win. Do you lose land rewards if you don't collect them by the end of the week? No, you do not. They will build up. I don't know how much they'll build up. Like I said, I pulled a buttload from the one guy. It just seems to keep going over. But if you don't pick them up this week, they'll keep them until you grab them. It's been my experience. Because worm breaches give away that someone's there. Ooh, they sure do. You ever see a worm breach, there's either a crash ship or a person. They don't do that just of their own accord. So with the cargo container attached, we are heading down here like normal. Whoops. This is why we're safe tonight, even if the power does go out. We're not going to be anywhere near a place where worms can get us. Storms could. Worms won't. But now that the Coriolis storm is coming, I don't think we have any regular storms. I think they go away. At least in my experience, they have. When you drop in, you're always looking at your the backside of your carrier, and whether it's a container or the buggy, it's going to be behind you. So, you just got to reattach it real quick. And away we go. So much better than the old days of trying to do this with just the assault. I don't know. A lot of people don't like pentashields. I like them, but I like them kind of reservedly, you know. But it is nice when you see somebody that takes the time to put a small one in there just to fill in a gap, you know. But they can get, you can, it's too much. Oh, Shy, if you're watching, man, I should go see if I can get any of these crash ships. I still haven't gotten the patterns I need out of there. We'll do that in the carrier, right? Alright. This I have to change, because you saw how easy it was out there in the deep desert. It's not quite so easy here at the main base, but I think I'm about as high as I could possibly be trying to do this. If you miss it, it starts pushing you up in the air. Like a glove. Now, I could... Oh, easy. Easy, big guy. I'm stuck in the door. I could go through my base and put all this stuff where it's supposed to go, but that's why we built these. These are for, like, the base going into the future, like what we're going to do next week. So I think what I will do is we will finally finish... Oh, it's already loaded? Why was it loaded? We're going to finish this. Symmetry is important, right? We will station them, make sure they're correct and centered and all that stuff at a later time, right? Ooh. Right now, we just want to get these roughly into place. Perfect. Okay, and now I'm just going to go into deep desert transport, and I am just going to unload whatever I can. Boy, does that fill up quick. Holy cow. And we'll try to get this empty so we can just go right back out. There we go. Now we got most of the heavy stuff out. We're going to skip over all that and start taking things from down here because they're going to be very lightweight. Some of this stuff we're going to trash. I got to admit. Maybe don't need it. Maybe I already have enough of it. But I'd rather grab it, bring it back here and find out than to not grab it and later be like, ah, man. 55. Plus, it gives me something fun to do. I like to organize. Man, boxes hold a lot. Oh, they're about to fill up now, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Okay. Is there an easier way? Is there like a transfer all that I'm not doing? Take all, but it doesn't look like it comes from this direction. Okay. Still 12. I think it's the water. I hate that. Oh, I hate when that happens. You click on a blank space and it does something crazy. Ooh, hey, easy. Does something crazy. There we go. 0. Hope you don't mind. I love the way you have the stored containers behind the path. My storage looks real neat too. If you if you see something here, I have no claim to nothing, man. If you think it's a great idea or that it works well, by all means. Some of the ideas I do here, some of the stuff I have, I've taken from other people's ingenuity. We're a sharing community here. Alright, so now we're just going to grab this sucker and we're heading right back out. Oh, no, because I'm going to mess with Shy just in case. I don't think I won't do it. I will. Looks like we're spared. Sometimes, like, I'm a big proponent of always, maximize what you're doing, and if it feels dangerous, it probably is. You should stop doing that. But you know what? Every now and then you got to get a little crazy. Keep the blood flowing. Looks like no, but we'll check it again. Come on, big girl. Turn. There you go. We're going to make a couple trips tonight. Just saying. So I've seen on Reddit's kind of questionable as a place to go. they seem to get distracted very easily. Ask a question, and then one person makes a joke, and then that's what that thread's about from that point on. But I've seen some people on the Dune Awakening Reddit that post up pictures of their bases, and some of the ideas I've gotten taken from that as well. It's really neat. People are very creative, far more creative than I am. Oh no, high altitude. What will I ever do? Kinda. What are you doing, kitty? You just sitting over there? So we're just gonna fly right on back. I used to build, I'll say that medium population, so even the last day, it's still kicking pretty heavy. And there's a couple bases that I saw throughout the week that are gone already. So yeah, it tells you. Love to head out to the islands and show you what it's talking about, but I'm scared. There's a guy who's willing to try to get do a crash ship in quicksand with a carrier and a cargo container, but no. Even I have my own limits. Auto flies off. Why was it? Those little nodes way up in the air. There's a base somewhere around. Oh, there he is. He's still there. This guy's kind of clever. Come back. There it comes back. Try so hard. And I get so far. But in the end, it doesn't even effing matter. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. I'm sorry. What do you do to make sure you keep the base running? Like you have enough wind trap filters in, turbine, lubricants. Keep a checklist in Excel. But I'm curious is what I do. What do I do? You left, right? Oh my God, yes. um, what do I do? Well, I usually will not build generators except for this over here. That way it spreads everything evenly. When I come out here, um, since this is deep desert, Haga is going to be a little bit different. Usually once a week in Haga, I just click a button and check everything. When I come out here, the first day I'm out here, I know that I'm not going to be out here more than 7 days. So I just make sure everything has 7, and then I walk away. I don't know what they're at right now. They could be ridiculous. They could be sensible. I don't know. Let's see. How many days can you run? Hey, it can run 7 more days. When I come out here, I know I'm going to make 5 of these bad boys, so I bring 500 lubricant, 100 for each one. Stick it in there. Don't have to worry about it. Filters. These I turned off a little while ago. As you can see, I still got 7 days worth. I just bring a ton of them. In my opinion, the best way to do this is to make it so that you don't have to worry about it. It's one less thing to worry about. I know these guys are going to run for days beyond how long I can have them out here. So that'll work. These guys here, they have 36 days because I'm crazy. And now I'm going to do that. The last thing will be the spice generators, which, by the way, is another change. I used to have 2 out here. We decided to put 3 and place them a little better. This way, I just could turn everything on. I don't have to worry about anything. So, it works out. These guys, they're going to run for 20 days. And I got to take them down tonight, otherwise it all gets destroyed. So I just overbuild here, dump a bunch of stuff in, so that way I don't have to worry about them. Let's get the Masquerade out of here. Let's see. Everybody's empty. Well, that one's not, but except for you and you. So we will go ahead and we will fill this in. And with this stuff, like I said, I'm not going to bring this next time. Again, I just overshot because it's been so long since I've been out here. But I was content to leave this in there so that I could draw from it if I wanted to make a few changes. I did make some changes. Like we put these little corner pieces in here. It just got boring to look at, so I changed it. Like I said, we finally put a patch of wall in here to take up this so it's not wide open, and I don't want any like raccoons or anything to get stuck in there. And we put these guys here just for a look. We built another generator, etc. So that's why I left those machines or all those extra spare parts in there. But I'm not going to take them out right now because of one thing that happens out here in the deep desert that you got to be careful of, and that is this. So I'm going to pull this guy on here, and we're going to look at repair. And you see how my little ceiling tile here is perfect. There's a little slot worth of damage, and if I spend 1 plast stone, it'll fix it. The big storms out here, they have like a number 3 on them compared to the ones that you see in Haga. They are much stronger, and they will knock your base shields down. They don't kill your power. So like your appendix shields stay up, your doors don't just all of a sudden open, crazy things happening, etc. But the shield, the base shield, the big blue one, drops. And what happens is when the storm goes through, it does a little bit of damage. That is another benefit to building on the shield wall versus building out into the sand. I get hit by less storms. They still come through, but there are less storms. From what I understand, if you build with plast stone, it can survive a whole week out here without too many issues. If you come out here and build with granite, so if you're using like the earlier sets, etc., granite sometimes can get destroyed depending on how much it has. So All my building is plastone. I know I'm heat stroking out, but I don't care about heat stroke. But yeah, so those shields drop and it takes a little bit of damage, but that also translates into machinery. So as you'll see here, I've taken one duraluminum, one cobalt paste, one calibrated Servoc, and one spice melange worth of damage. I can repair this, or I can just bring a little bit of extra of those out the next time I come out. It's not such a big deal, but let's say that I have calculated out to the exact amount how much I need of everything here. When I break this down and stick it in a box and be like, oh, that I'll take it out next time, I'll be short. Be short little bits, little tiny bits here and there. That's why you bring the extra. But the amount extra I brought was ridiculous. So we can definitely tone it down some. What I'll probably do, I mean, I could go through here and repair all these things and repair all the walls and all that stuff, but who has time for that? Just for, you know, little tiny bits of stuff here and there. So what I'll probably do is when we tear the base down, I'll just top off any stacks. So for instance, when you look at this total, I brought way too much of this, right? Right, way too much. Of course we have too much of that. Too much of this. I've got all this excess, didn't need to bring it. So this stuff I'm going to take back to Haga and put it back in basic normal storage. And then when I break the base down, I'll put that in the deep desert base boxes. And then I'll just kind of pump up a couple little things here and there. Nothing too extensive. Why would you be short when you're building fresh turbines? Is it because of the blueprint? What'll happen is I'm going to tear everything down and I'm going to get the resources. So let's say this base uses exactly 3,000 plastone. If I bring 3,000 plastone out, because every single exterior wall, every single exterior wall has taken a little bit of damage. Every single one of them. But like things that were shielded, like inside a room, this had walls all the way around it, plus above and below. So this never took any damage whatsoever. Hi, Kitty. You were interested in this part too? All the stuff inside here is okay, but here you see, look at that. That one actually, because it's granite, took a little bit extra damage here. Because it's out there in the open. It's actually where the stairwell goes across. This is fine. Everything's fine here. But these outside areas took a tiny bit of damage. So if it needs exactly 3,000 and I bring 3,000 after tearing this down, I'm not going to get 3,000 back. I'm probably going to get like 2950. And if I don't pay attention to that, I'll come out here and I'll be short one piece or something like that, and then I'll get all stupid and irritated. So it's just saving myself the hassle. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that that is empty. Good. And we're going to empty this one out in just a second. You're empty, right? Yes. Sorry. How much time do we have on this, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, this is easy. Okay. You know what? It's the other thing that's going to take forever. Let's go see how long it's going to take for that plastanium to get done. I know it didn't pull it all out, but that's fine. 298. Oh, look at that. Under an hour. That's awesome. We've been going for like an hour and 15, so it's not too bad. We still have plenty of space in here. So I'm going to empty this guy out. We're going to put all of this stuff into the deep desert transport, and this won't go into next week's or whenever I end up building out here again. I might come out next week again just to kind of get that spice built up a little bit more. We got to kind of see where we're at. This goes in the backpack, and these come out. because we're going to have to make a copy of this. But these are all good. That one still has base supplies in it. It's not a big deal. Bodies are gone. There are no boxes upstairs, so we're pretty well stripped down to just vehicles, machinery, and structure. This would be the time that if I wanted to make any kind of changes or like, I don't know if I like this or I want to move that, this is when I would do that, because we are going to pop our little Solido on. And we're going to make a copy of this base. I don't know why it did this. It was just a visual error. But, so you equip it just like you would any other tool. And when you point it at a base, you make a copy of it. So now I have a copy of this guy, and it's exactly what's going on in there, minus the vehicles. So next week I come out here, I drop the two things, I'll drop the sub fief, then let's get off this. I'll drop the sub fief, then I'll extend it over one side, and I'll probably go ahead and put an upper one, a vertical staking unit. And once I get that set out, we should be able to click this bad boy right in the same spot. Run around and button. Looks like there's a light there. I guess it's picking it up from the inside. That is crazy. That's just asking for some kind of decoration, so maybe next week we'll do that. Do you net more with the crawler than the compactor, or is it the same? It's hard to say. What you're looking at is time. With a crawler, you can gather way more spice much faster and hold more than you can in anything that you would take out to do a compacting with. Most common thing would be an assault with transport modules, like the what do they call? I have them on this one. Boxes, whatever, you know what I mean, so that you can put stuff in it. Why is that word killing me? So here I call it draft horse because I make it work. I can fill up to 20 slots and 2,000 volume, whereas with the crawler you've got way more space and way more slots. Let's go over here and we'll do this, and you can see I could put 11,250 in there, and it's got 30 slots, so each one of those could be a stack of spice. Once you get this sucker out there, and if there's enough spice on the ground, you could really fill this up. A medium will take up one full row plus almost half of another. Usually it's one full row. This will be 25, and then this is usually like 15. So it takes quite a few mediums to completely fill this guy up. But you can go out to a large field and just go to town. Time-wise, with a compactor, you'll fill up your storage boxes on whatever vehicle you took out there and have to fly back, empty them, come back. In that amount of time, that crawler's still running. So the fact that it can hold so much more and it collects it so much faster is what makes the crawler better. So, I mean, do you net more? It's going to depend on your deep desert. All things considered, if you were the only person on your server, crawler all the way. But there's other people out there. They may be out there. I mean, you know, like I said, there were several times I flew out there and nothing. Just never found any spice whatsoever, so it was a waste of a trip. But like, if you're mad enough to clear a medium complete with a compactor, yeah, it would take so long. I've done it. I've done it. The first spice I ever harvested in Haggai I did by hand because I didn't even have a compact. I didn't even know what they were. I came across a spice field. I was like, "Ooh, look!" Sitting there, digging through with my hands. Okay, so we've made a copy of the base, and I want to show you something. Not that. I want to show you this. Right here, you see it just says utility building tools. What I'm going to do here is I am going to actually load this bad boy up, and we're going to forget that blueprint. Now, placing it is one thing. Forgetting it doesn't delete the gun, right? So all I did was clear it. I still have it. When you place it, it uses it. See how it says advanced subpeep console? We're actually going to use, or we're going to manage this bad boy here. And I'm going to come in here and we're going to change the name. So I call it the DD combo base, Deep Desert Combo Base. The reason I call it a combo base is because I can do anything I want out of here. I can do ore refinery, I can do spice, I can collect crazy things. We have carriers, buggies. It's all super awesome and super great. So now I'm going to come out here and we're going to come out here because it scares me. And we're going to copy this building, right? Now, when you look at that gun, it says DD combo base. Whatever your subfief is named, that's what the gun's going to be named. And that way, if I put this in a box, I know this is a DD combo base. That may not matter so much, but if you have a Solito copy of your main base in case you want to move it, or if you have more than one base, like I have my the base I used to have in Shoal, a monastery base where I would get jasmium crystals and stuff. I have some more combat oriented bases that can go out, forward operating bases. So I have several different Solito guns. This keeps me organized and at least, you know, somewhat intelligent about it. So yeah, if you name your subfief something and then you exactly, yeah, so if you walk up and you see it and you're like, oh, which one is this, you can fly out here and you plop it and you'll be like, this is not the base I wanted. Yeah, just make sure you name your subfief anything you want, whatever it is, to keep it, and that's what the gun will be named. And if you come in here and change this, it doesn't change the gun. Yeah, that worked. In a pinch, you can Y preview to remind yourself. Yes, that is true. 7. Oh no, you have to do it from there. And if you Y, it'll show you what it looks like. So good point out. It's kind of neat. Also a good way to make sure I've lined everything up right. Yep. And these guys look good. There's a space I gotta fix though. Not today, it's already too late. So, like I was saying, I know I have to make at least 2 trips because of all the stuff that, it's got a rename button, does it? Eh. Look at us learning things. This is great. Shouldn't say stuff like this. Can't believe the power's still up. Okay. I definitely have to make 2 trips because right now our desert transport is, let's just say, half full and a third full slots in that. So breaking down the base, it's going to overflow that. So I know I at least have to make 1 trip back. Here's the overall question. Now, let's take a look at this bad boy. And I have not decided what I want to do with this because she's somewhat beat up. Treads are fully repaired. They're a third dead. So they're 2/3 life. This Regis container is even worse off than that. The engine's got some damage on it. Here's the issue with this thing. Now, first off, this was made so long ago. This was before crafting skills. No, leave that alone. Cat's clawing him a chair. This was made before you could get bonuses to your crafting durability. So these all started at 100. I am now maxed out on my crafting because I'm super awesome and special, and you gotta get away. I'm super awesome and special, and I can make things at like 200 durability now. So I can make better versions of this. But those dampened treads in that Regis container, they are special materials and they're hard to come by. The only place you can get dampened treads occasionally from Landsrad. Don't count on it. It's kind of odd when they show up. If they do, grab them. Make sure you get that one done. I've never seen a Regis container as part of a Landsrad reward. It only comes from the vehicle vendor, which you have to get when you win the Landsrad. So it's going to be a team effort. You got the whole server is going to have to decide to, kick into high, win the Landsrad, and then pick the proper thing. Get down. Thanks. You can buy them from the market. People sell them for super ridiculous prices. Shame on them. It'll come back to get them. But anyway, here's the issue with this. If I go out and hit a large, I will not be able to fill this container before these guys are red and need repairs. And that's an issue. I want to be able to go out, and if I hit a large field, to be able to do it until that Regis container is full, and then I head back. So I can't do that. Once I can't do something, I start getting irritated with my equipment. If it can't make it, if it can't do this, I can't do what I'm supposed to. So I was thinking on what options I have. And I thought, because there's also a part of me that really likes to get every last ounce of effort and build out of something, like take this all the way down. I thought about making another one, because I do have the blueprints to make a brand new one just like this, and bringing both of them out here and using this guy for short runs when I just go out and hit a couple fields and whatever, and then using the bigger one for the larger things. But the issue with that is this. I'm already at 9 out of 10 vehicles. Some things are going to have to get taken apart, like the sand bike and possibly my rocket copter and all sorts of other stuff. So it's really not feasible. I really wish they'd let you have as many vehicles as you wanted. Like, I don't understand what the problem is, but fine. So, you know, I was thinking, what am I going to do with this thing? If it was just regular and I had an abundance of the treads and the Regis blueprints, I would probably trash it. Break it down and hope that I get enough materials and possibly some more blueprints back, because I do have that skill that lets me get it. On something that's important, it probably won't do it, but I mean, it would. If it broke down a leader, John, it would probably give me the pattern back for that, but I was disappointed how much the upgrade loses durability because how hard it is to get. Yeah, she breaks really bad. This one did get eaten once, so, you know, there is that. And I had to use the tool to bring it back. But another thing that I was thinking about doing, and this is a solid option, the only things that bother me about this guy are this Regis container and the treads. The Regis containers at 58, these are at 66. I was thinking I have the patterns for these, and maybe I could rebuild just these three and slap them on there and replace the engine as well, since it's down low. And that would get me a whole lot more time without having to make another vehicle. If I really got in like super awesome about it, I could bring all this stuff out and I could be like switching them out, kind of like NASCAR. You know, you pull in, they lift me up, throw the new tires on, get out there and go out and stay out. That might be a smarter option, and I may just build another container and these things and then just use these on smaller, shorter runs. But yeah, once I get down, it used to be 75%. Now I've loosened up really bad. Once I get to about 2/3 is when I start having questions. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. The buggy, you asked about that, Shy. Whoa. Mark 6 all the way around, bigger boot and a focus buggy cut array. I've been just trying to break this engine so that I could put a bloodshot on it, and my treads are getting a little questionable. I'm going to let them get down to about 50, and I can repair them. Let's do that. Let's repair them just so we know what we're looking at. Oop. Wrong button. But we don't have too much welding wire on us. You can tell it's the end of the week. End of a deep desert week. Oh, I remember when these things didn't break. It was a great time. Alright. So 86, 72 in the engine, 77. So she's got a lot of time left in her. We might leave this completely alone. We might make, because we got 2 patterns now, so we might make one of those blood shots and stick it in there. But everything else looks like it's in great shape. We're going to lose fuel if we break these things down, but to be honest, I mean, I could take the carrier and just bring this guy back. Yeah, we could load it up with a bunch of stuff, so at least we're making, you know, a decent trip. It is kind of poopy to break it down just to go back to Haga and put it together. The crawler I normally don't keep assembled. I'll leave that broken down and in the cargo container, so that one's not a question. But I do also have an assault sitting up there that I have to somehow get back. So what I was thinking I might do is make use of this ridiculously large number right here. I was thinking about breaking this guy down and then flying the assault back, putting that back together, pulling the gun out, bringing my rocket thopter out, fly back out here. Problem solved. Now I'm just down to one more trip with the cargo container type thing. I could break down both of those vehicles. I don't want to do that. The game hates. Do you transport the car, take it apart? Yeah, see, you're asking that. 2 weeks in a row, you stocked up. Nice. Nice. Sadly, 2 a.m. in Spain. Dude, I hate the fact that you're in Spain. Well, no, I mean, it's sorry. That's rough. I was thinking, I wonder what time would be a better... Maybe we'll do a Spain stream one day, so it's a little easier for you. But yeah, that's rough. 2 a.m. Ugh. So... I mean, if I don't have to break something down, is it worth it? I know I have to make at least one more trip. Let's just break them down. Quit being a baby. We got a ton of fuel, so losing fuel, there are worse things in the world. So we'll break this bad boy down. We'll stick it into a box. That'll let us stick it into a container. I guess the worst part about this is we have to reapply our swatches. The horror. There was something in this, because there's something on the ground now. There was a whole bunch of titanium that we hadn't moved out. Oopsies. That's what I get for not looking. We should be able to pick it all up there now. Okay. And you know what? While we're at it, we'll put you... We're going to need that soon. Let's just go ahead and break this one down too. Boop. This is also one of those hidden benefits of being able to store more in your backpack. Used to be a real pain in the butt for me, like building these vehicles, because I didn't have any space and I could never put anything down. So I would end up having to make like 2 or 3 trips to a storage box just to get enough stuff. And there she is. I'm not taking my assault apart though. Since she's an aircraft, it'd be easier to just do that. Unfortunately, we have time right here. 34 minutes. We might, you know what? We might do it. We might just stretch it out. So I used to get really crazy about breaking the base down and doing all that stuff. And now what I do is I will just take out this bottom wall all the way around. I'll stand next to a box and just bust everything up. Goes beyond what my backpack can hold, but it just drops it on the floor. Stick it in the box, move it to the cargo container. Away we go. My cargo container luckily is on the ground right now, so it's safe. And even if it wasn't, it just falls to the ground. But yeah, I'm just going to take this bottom piece off, and then everything above just gets broken instantaneously. And I just got to tear up silly stuff like this. So like this box here is completely empty, right? So we can go ahead and... Oh, we got to switch. And since I made the copy of the base, we're clear to do this. Demolish. Skadoosh. 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 Oh, I still had stuff in some of them boxes. Alright. Wonder if it'd be better to have left one of the vehicles so that I can do this. I don't know how much stuff I've... both of these I could. Because we can do just the quick deposit. Tap F. But unfortunately, that's not going to get rid of everything. Ah! Too many buttons. Perfect. You know what? I could probably quicken in there. Yeah. It's only going to get rid of the cobalt paste and the spice. So you and you go back in. Let's go see what we left. I know I left a bunch of fuel cells. I don't know what's in here. My frickin' buggy, you dummy. That could have been horrible, you know? I don't know why it does that. That last little, the extra row of things, it goes underneath this. I don't know why. Let's do this before we get stupid and make more mistakes. Let's put you over there. And now I'm going to try to put these things in here in some semblance of an order. So the first thing I always look for is the chassis. Put that in there, and then after that, it doesn't matter. This is just so when I go to put it back together, whoops, when I go back to put it together, everything's somewhat easy to find. I like to put a vehicle in there and then put a fuel cell to separate anything else. In this case, we're just going to put a bunch of fuel cells in, though. And I'm not going to take up space with patterns. That's for backpacking. Guess I should go ahead and pick up the crawler too, right? Because you know that would be important. Do, 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 do. Bingo. Oh, big backpack space is so great. Okay, now we bring up this guy again. We scroll down. Bunch of fuel cells in the way. We'll go ahead and put those in there. That should go up somewhere to the... Yeah, perfect. Same thing, chassis, and then we put all the rest of the stuff in there. And here we go. So we should be totally fine. Nothing left on the floor anymore. That's got to stay there and run, but all of our water is ready to be broken down. Stand right here by this box. So this is what I've started breaking down. Oh, why am I over there? This is what I've started breaking down already. And the same thing with this guy here. I don't want to put that in that transport up there because this is technically base materials. This kind of all needs to stay separate. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and while we're thinking about that, we're going to move this bad boy right there, and then we'll move this one right there. And that should be enough to break down most, if not all, of this base. But we don't have to totally do that right now. The other thing that I want to do, though, is we want to go upstairs. Because since we've been busting machines, our power usage to our creation is way off. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go to the storage and we're going to take all the fuel out of it and we're going to let them run whatever they have right now. Storage. Boop. So hopefully by the time we come back from our last little run, nope, they got 2 hours worth of running, so doesn't matter. I don't know why I clicked on it like that. And we're going to do the same thing here. We'll pull all the filters out of these guys. I left the filters in when I shut them off earlier because I wasn't sure if I wanted to maybe get a little bit more production out of something, or maybe if I just needed a little bit. I could have just put Masquerade in the thing, but in the death stills, but I left them in there just in case. We. Okay, so that's all drained down. And now we're going to do the same thing. Although I don't think I can hold the ridiculous amount. Yep. So I can't pull all of them with one backpack. Plus I got extra stuff in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we're going to grab a box. Go to 7, we'll go move. We're going to take this bad boy right upstairs. And we're going to drop it right there. And then we're going to unload all this stuff. I think it might be easier to do it this way, but I'm not there yet. This isn't base stuff, so I guess technically this wouldn't be considered base stuff either. What do you think? I think I'm pretty smart. I think I can remember this. So we'll just pull all the fuel directly into the deep desert transport, and we can keep track of that on our own. Ooh. So those are eventually going to start shutting down. Everything is going to start shutting down, which technically isn't great, but it's not the worst thing because we still have our spice generators, which are making the bulk of the power. This repair station, which you should really make a repair station. It's so nice to just be able to fix things without having to go all the way back to Haga. These guys are running, and they're running for days and days, so they will definitely keep the rest of the base going. And honestly, these guys are each 350 themselves, so there's, 1,500 out of it. I think that's going to do it. I think we pulled everything everything else is just structure and equipment. So it's time to make at least one trip. think we'll just take the assault back. That machine needs time to run. While we're doing that, we can talk about something that kind of screwed me over. When I say that I go out in the deep desert and stay out there, I'm not kidding. We got a lot of missions. I did 5 over the course of this week. It's okay because we don't have any of the super. Oh, we want to vulture out. There we go. It's okay because we're not getting any of the boosting up to 35s anymore. That would be the only reason I want to get it down to 0. But this coming week, I've got a ton of work to do as far as Landsrad goes. I stayed over really. I only did 5 this whole week. That oh God, I hate to say this, but it felt good. Felt good not to do Landsrad stuff after so many weeks in succession of that. Hey, we'll give you an extra 35. Because I just couldn't say no, you know. Okay, I'll work extra hard. It's not really, wasn't that bad. It gets bad because of the monotony. Getting used to it, like doing the same missions over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, any day now. Thanks. Where am I? My goodness. That was very angry. Storm? Is that why I'm so choppy, or is it all the pentashields I'm flying past? Whoa, we got bad things going on. Come on, baby. Control yourself. Alright. My own lights mess me up. We're gonna come over here real quick. Now we're just gonna drop these patterns off. Schematics, whatever we'll call them. That's good enough. 6. Boop. And away we go. I see a lot of crash ships here, and then I don't see any. I couldn't tell you last time I saw one down here. Why is it so choppy? Now, theoretically, what I would prefer to do is to take all this stuff, like throughout the week, I would make trips back and forth to Haga and drop this stuff off. I kind of don't do that so that we can fire up the stream and I can show you what, you know, look, this is the total I got, etc. That sounds like I'm a douchebag, but I'm not. It's not a flex. It's just, look, this is what I did in the course of a week. I guess technically I could just make boxes in Haga and do the same thing. That would keep me from spending an entire Monday just doing this because this is all we've done. Made some resources. We did go on one trip with our buggy. But yeah, if I wasn't streaming, look at that, it's low now. So we are getting down there. If we didn't have a stream involved, I probably would have taken a bunch of this stuff back last night. Excuse me, or as it fills up. It's weird. It's almost 8:30. I'm old. I should be going to bed. Oh, we hit it. This other side hangar, like you see the one that I put the carrier in, the other side hangar used to be a lot smaller because I never really brought the assault out after the cargo container showed up. But it was a little useful from time to time, so we ended up making this thing bigger. You know me, I don't like the ends, like the wings sticking out, even though it doesn't matter. I just personally I don't like it, so. We're gonna go with 6, and we're gonna go click. Come on, how can you be out of range? Thanks. There we go. We should be getting close, right? Oh, 16 minutes. Hoping we were closer than that. I gotta make, I know I have stairs there that I just ran away from, but yeah, I gotta make, like the hatches they have. We might look into that at a later time. All right. So much better than having it built into the building. I used to have it in the same room where the water tanks are right now and the spice generators, and I would cover it up so nobody could see it. And then I was like, dude, you could be yanking it out of the base and using it to transport stuff. Like, what are you doing, dummy? Much better that way. But I'm thinking, like I said, making those little ramps, the inclines, to where I can drop it in and it'll slide down in the hole if I don't have it lined up properly. Because it can get a little questionable. Worst case scenario, if I know I'm doing a quick transfer, I could just stick it in the big hangar. The reason I ran through on the roof to get all the filters and all the lubricants and all that stuff is when you break these machines down, by breaking the wall so that everything collapses, when that machine breaks apart, anything that's inside it, any of the filters, any of the lubricants, any of the other stuff, like in storage even, is going to drop into a satchel and it will hover in the air. It won't drop to the ground, so you'll miss out on whatever was in that. That's why I went through and took all the filters and all the lubricant and everything else out. I love how no matter what you're in, whether it's a scout, assault, or a carrier, it's always a scout and it moves so quickly. I could not imagine if it had my little carrier thing there and was going down and be like, dude, no, we can't be doing this. Thank you for making it quick. It's one heck of a base. It's all the way up in there too. But it's all the same thing. And that's a worm. You're probably dead, dude. Unless you're standing on rocks, but I don't think you are. Yeah, bless the maker and his water. Oh, look at that. I got a quest I could do. So we're going to do a quick transfer. Whoops. There we are. So I'm actually just going to drop into the main hangar. And we'll deal with everything from there. See? And we'll drop here. Whoa, buddy, you need to calm down. Oh, I made a big mistake, everyone. Let's get this sucker emptied and back up in the air before bad things occur. Whoa. I think we got more stuff than we got space. Oh, we definitely have more stuff than we have space. Yep. Oh my. The heck was that? Oh, they're all full. Alright, well, we are going to have to make use of some other boxes here. This one's pretty empty. This actually will work. I'll remember this, so I won't pull any of this stuff until we disperse every bit of it. And that way, I'll leave everything from the base teardown in the cargo container. Gotta remember to, oh boy, we're gonna fill this sucker up too. I gotta remember to get in here and put the buggy back together, because that's my buggy from downstairs. There we go. Oh, thank you for everything fitting in that box. Awesome. Okay. Oh no, high altitude. Stop it. And this will be our final
Sector
trip.
weather alert.
Uh-oh.
A large sandstorm is approaching.
Okay, so yeah, we do have sandstorms during the build-up to the Coriolis. At least in Hagar we do. Auto-apply, please. That's expensive. Why are you standing on it? Hmm? But at least we know that this is the last time that we're heading out to the deep desert. So we got everything we needed. We had a pretty good week. Like I said, I wish it would have been a little better in certain instances, but I'm not going to complain. Oh, it's medium again? I'm not going to complain about what we got. We got tons of plastanium. We will not have to worry about silicone blocks for probably the rest of the game. Um, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes you go through them. Spice could have been better, but it's not the worst thing that ever happened. It'll take a day or two to sort through everything that we've got, which is good. I mean, you know. That would be another benefit of taking things back more often and making occasional runs. I think there's a guy breaking his base down too. Autofly is off again. I don't remember turning it on. He might be breaking it down, or it might just be sitting there. Or maybe he's got crappy power lines too and bad things occurred. So, I technically could just set this cargo container down on the ground if I really wanted to, instead of putting it inside. We'll go ahead and do that. That way I don't have to mess with it. I really don't have to mess with it anyway, but this just makes it a little bit easier. So we're just going to set her down right about here. Still close enough to count. And I'm also going to land on the sand right here, because I don't want to be up in that upper hangar, because we're going to tear everything down. So and skadoosh, 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 skadoosh. Okay. Always make sure you're standing near a box when you destroy stuff. That way, if it goes a little bit over what you're allowed to carry, then it's real easy. Just pick it up. If you're standing too far away from things, it becomes a pain in the butt. Okay, so everything else up top on the roof, I'm okay with, just like it blowing up and it'll fall down. So, yeah, you're fine. Alright, so we're going to take this and we're going to move it. Never built those lights, but you know what? It'll be okay. Still don't know why my floor is completely green. Boop. So we are going to now break everything we can except for that. Hitting the wrong buttons there, folks. Doot, doot, doot. Hopefully we only got about like 10 minutes. Oh, we don't even have that. We only got 4. Rock and roll. That we're going to have to try to keep separate. I don't know how we're going to do that. I guess we'll just put it up here. Do I have a fuel cell somewhere? You alright, Cat? Just gonna walk through? Did you hit the mic? No, you didn't. I have a fuel cell in my pocket. We'll use the broken one. That'll be fine. Just notice this too. You go up there. Okay. This is just to try to keep this separate, but when this stuff goes in, it's gonna blend. Well, like I said, there are worse things, so I gotta quit crying. I just don't want to hit them spice generators. I gotta make sure I don't do that. Uh, if there's an easier way to do this, I don't know it, unfortunately. Let's put this up there so that we don't. There we go. We're gonna split that so that way we got even numbers. Just makes it a little easier to see. So they're all gonna be down here now. Perfect. Okay. We'll go back. Don't want to destroy the sub-peep though. That's a big no-no. And eventually we're going to get to the point where the structure can't hold itself up anymore. There we go. Did you see all that stuff that just dropped in? That means something broke up somewhere. Looks like we got some ceiling missing there, so I wonder if that's where it broke apart. Not breaking apart sensibly, though. Why would it do that, though? Why would it be sensible? Looking strange. Alright, so we actually, sorry about that. We are not positioned very well, so let's move you right here. And now we should be able to destroy everything over here. What is holding you up? Oh, there we go. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I don't get it. Oh, we broke down a bunch there, didn't we? What do you think, kitty? Pretty cool, huh? I think this is going to cause huge destruction when I break these, and I'm kind of far away from, you know, worse things. That box is full. So you see there's nothing up in the roof being all silly. That would happen if there was still stuff inside those boxes. Oh, well, this is good because we get to move it closer. I think the agave seeds didn't make it yet. Okay. Let's bring it over here so we can do this. Now that she's done, awesome. We're going to have to remember this. We're going to call it 400. That'll be good enough, right? We'll just say it was 400. And that took the rest of it down. So now it's just the floor and some generators. We don't even need the generators anymore because we done finished all that nonsense. But there's going to be a bunch of stuff in that little satchel right there because that basically was the entire base that we just broke down. Wow, backpack's huge. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and just transfer all of this stuff in there. No semblance of order at this point. I don't care. I'll fix it once we get back. That's good. Now we can go 7 and skadoosh. But I'm gonna leave this one up. Leave this up for a while. It's bad, Albert. The stranded one? Nope. No, Callie. We gave it back to Arrakis. I kept it for 2 weeks, I think, and it never found its owner, so we pushed it with our buggy out into the desert, put a thumper on the ground, and Shai Hulud took care of the rest. It's a shame, but we tried. Okay, last thing I gotta do is I want to pull you, and we're gonna take all your fuel out, and the same thing with you. Pull all the fuel out, and then finally, there we go. D-Base is running out of power. It's only got 2 hours left. Oh no. It's not gonna like it when I do this, that's for sure. Boop, boop, boop. Shield is down. Also, you got to be careful because this is the point where you start, like, I've got no place to hide now. So I'm really glad it's nighttime when I'm doing this. I have been in this situation where I'm taking a base down and it's daylight, and then we start dying. Not even wearing a still suit right now. This is the time to wear them. Okay, so that's all done. The only thing left is the rocks on the ground and a little bit of metal. So let's put all of you in there. We're looking good. We're 7,000, so we're almost half, and we're a third. So perfect. Worked like a charm. So at this point, we're clear to break this. And I've seen people leave the plastone. It's easy to make. So, I can understand why they do it. I don't like leaving it. It's silly, it's a video game, man. It's digital pixels. It's not like I'm actually littering or violating the rules. Okay, I'm cleaning it up, dude. Holy cow. getting close to a full backpack. So let's get over here. Yep, we were close to a full backpack. 7 and demolish. That's gonna be it. So yeah, like I was saying, it was an okay week. I would have preferred more spice, but I'm not gonna cry about it because that's being weak and being a baby. We're not whiny crying babies here. We did pretty well with plastanium. We did pretty well with some patterns and some schematics. I'm okay with the spicy dust that we got. Looks like I am crying. Sorry. Yeah, the spice was the only thing that I was a little shy on, but you know what? That's another good reason why you come out here before you have to. I don't have to be out here. I still have plenty of spice, melange. I still have plenty of plastanium. But I saw that I was getting around halfway to what I normally have. Like, I'm at about 50% capacity. I'm like, oh, I better get out there and get some. So this will get me back up to 75%, 80%, something like that. And we can coast for, a good while. I don't have to come back out here anytime. It's a lot better to make that choice before you have to. All right, so everything's in there. Everything's in there. We're ready to fly home, folks. If I wanted to, there's the last couple things we could grab. Looks like I did leave one foundation, but that's okay. The storm's gonna take care of it. Now we just have to go back to Haga and put everything away. Everything that's in this container right now, I'm gonna kind of just leave. I know there's a little bit of extra plastanium in there. It was like 400. So I may take that out. But everything else we'll leave in here so that when I do want to make another base out in the deep desert, we're these cats that we're already set up and ready to go. And also a lot of the materials that I have in there is what made some of my stores go down a little too low. I had put everything that was for my deep desert base back into regular storage, so it looked like I had tons. And then I was like, Tuscan Raider Gauntlet happened? Okay. Is that gonna, that's for, oh, you're gonna do that tomorrow, so it's for next week. Gotcha. Next Sunday. So this took about 2 to 3 hours. We did have a little break where the power decided to get stupid, right, kitty? Exactly. But we fought through it. We managed to stay on this whole time, so that's an improvement. Now we can get back to our regularly scheduled duties. We have a ton. Well, no, you don't do that. We have a ton of Landsrad missions to run, unfortunately. But that's actually okay because, we're going to see. Hop down. Good job. We're going to see what the Landsrad looks like coming up. We definitely want some vehicle vendor rates. That would be great. I'd hate to see that get, slip away. But who knows? Unfortunately, most of the Landsrad stuff happens when I'm at work, my real life work. So, go home and try to do my best, but I'm sure my boss would love that. Be like, hey, I'm being a little late. I got some Landsrad stuff to do. Cat, why are we making laps, man? Huh? Come here. Come on, you sit with me instead. Sit with me and we'll say goodnight to the nice people. Right? We are definitely going to have to keep an eye on the weather forecast. If we're getting big rains like we did the last 2 days, I may be careful about whether or not we stream, just because I don't want to lose everything. You want to get down? You're not getting down. I own you. But at least we were able to get back on and start her up again. Up there. There you go. Which was good. So, and we got our deep desert base shut down with the power dumping like that. I was definitely like the flickers we can deal with, the battery backups will handle it, but when it completely drops for 15 minutes, which is what it did, that's unrecoverable, and I was terrified that I was going to get stranded out in the deep desert, and then the storm was going to take everything. Tuscan Raider Guild is building a gauntlet across 6 sectors. Copy. We'll drive the gauntlet to my checkpoint for rearming and repairs, then race back the prize first to make it back. Get some Atreides battle rifle skin. If they don't, the Tuscan Raiders get it. Come on, come on. There you go. There we are. Back home, safe and sound. We got boxes full of messiness, and we gotta sort some things out, but Evan, we'll have to check it out, dude. See if I can make it to this one. This weekend was a little crazy with 4th of July, so, and my son came up to visit. He moved to Maryland, so it was good seeing him and his girl, and they hung out. But anyway, thank you guys for dealing with the problems. We're going to continue on our magical muting microphone. We might have to replace the whole unit, which will be terrible and expensive, but we'll see what we can do. So far, the forecast for Wednesday looks like it's going to be great, so we should hopefully be able to get on then, and everything will be normal. This weekend, it does look a little bit stormy, so not sure what's going to happen. But anywho, and that was a week in the deep desert. We did well. We built up some resources. Now we can just go record it out. I hope to have you participate to see what I can do, but I appreciate the invite. Thank you. Yep, we're going to call it a night here. Let the storm do its thing, and we'll see. Might try some ferrying where you just grab like my crawler and swoop out there instead of building a base, and just see what we're looking at there. I know that taking the carrier or the cargo container out to one of the islands is really awesome. I wasn't able to do that this time, so I might showcase that, because man, you want to talk about resources. Go out there, build a small sub beef, drop a cargo container, and you so much ridiculous amounts of resources. Unfortunately, there's no way to compare that and do that with spice. So, anywho, but yep, that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you guys for jumping back in once we disconnected. But we did get everything done, and on to another week. Public all week. All right, sounds good, dude. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Always. Oh, you had 10K spice. Show off. No, good on you, dude. Good on you. That's. Yep. That's what I was hoping for, but no, I didn't. I think I got like about a third of that. Is what it is, man. But good on you for getting that 10K. Yep. I will see everybody later. Like, subscribe, share. Those things all help the channel out. We continue to grow, which is super exciting. We get this power supply and this muting mic solved. We'll be back in business and living the good life. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. And as always, I'll see you out there. Take care.